My name's Jessamine. I'm going to tell you how I learned what loving God really means. I transferred to CSU in fall of 2016, and I, at that point in my life, had really been walking with Jesus. I was raised in a loving home, a family that honored the Lord, that elevated His Word. And I came to CSU because I believed that's what the Lord really wanted me to do. I didn't know why, but I went, and He confirmed that I was supposed to be there in so many ways. And I moved in with these two girls who were actually part of Outpost. And they would always invite me throughout that fall semester. They would invite me all the time to Outpost. But in my mind, Outpost it made me think of cowboys and Westerners. And I just thought maybe it was a bunch of kids who were wearing cowboy boots and cowboy hats and just kind of sat around. And I didn't really want that type of community. And so every time they would invite me, I would say no. And even though I had been walking with the Lord a long time, I was still immature in a few ways. And one of those ways was that I didn't really know how to value strong Christian community. And the other way was that I really saw my relationship as being about me and God and no one else. Anyway, I was really lonely that semester. I remember crying to myself in the library one day as I was working on accounting homework on a Friday night. I remember crying on Halloween weekend because I realized that it didn't matter if I wore a costume because there was no one to see it. And eventually, those girls, they just kept asking and trying to be my friend. And one day, they invited me to a Christmas party. And they said, Jessamine, you can dress up for this Christmas party. And I love dressing up, and I had no friends, so it didn't matter if I ever dressed up. And so I jumped at the opportunity to dress up. As I walked into that Christmas party, it didn't take me long to realize that I was walking into a room full of my people. And I got involved in a small group, and it was nothing like what I pictured. These weren't quiet kids in cowboy boots and cowboy hats. They were rowdy kids, and they were on fire for the Lord. And some of them wore cowboy boots. But yeah, these became my really good friends, and I started to really have a heart for this community, and I realized that maybe I could be a small group leader. And so I started taking a leadership training course. But at that time, I was still immature in many ways, and it was still just about me and God, really. And so for me, being a small group leader meant something really great to put on my resume. And it meant good leadership experience, and it meant other people would really benefit from what I had to say. But as soon as that leadership training course started, they gave us practical assignments. And one of those I remember was we had to go on campus and share our testimony with 5 strangers. And I was so mad, and I called my mom and I was like, they want me to share my testimony with people, they want me to pray for people, and I just don't feel like I'm called to talk about Jesus all the time. And I was just uncomfortable. And she pointed that out, and she said, I think that you are growing. I think the Lord is growing you. And suddenly I saw it all very differently, and I thought, oh, you're right. And so from that point on, I just saw it as the Lord growing me in Him. And what grew as I finished the class and became a small group leader and started actually discipling young women and pursuing young women was the Lord He showed me what it meant to have responsibility for people. That my relationship with Him wasn't just about the two of us. It was about these few girls in my small group and these thousands of students that I would brush shoulders with every day who didn't know Him. And I began to see that loving Jesus means taking responsibility for the things that are dearest to His heart. And the things that are dearest to Him are the people that He's made.